Good afternoon.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Friday. Coming toward the end of the month of June. One special notice that comes to mind is to realize that the PPP Flexibility Act that was signed into law said that the date extended from June 30th to the end of the year. So you have time. From what I know, none of the banks are accepting the PPP forgiveness documents yet, although they are starting to circulate. SBA puts one out themselves, and I think I made mention that we have one as well that we'd be happy to share. And Deborah in Pekin, if you would send me an email address where I can send that to you. You left a message after our last live. I'd love to send that to you. Anyone else, please direct message and leave an email where it can be sent. Just help you keep track of everything. But with that extension, it really should mean that everyone can be fully forgiven for their PPP loan. So please know that does take some discipline and some time to and probably work with your accountant or bookkeeper in order to make sure that happens. Also, just as an aside, please also know that if you have people that have refused to come back and are on unemployment, it is your responsibility, as taking a PPP loan, it's your responsibility to let unemployment IDES know that those people were offered their job back and refused. That's an employer's responsibility as a result of taking the PPP. So that's the start. Terry's here today, so you want to say hello?
I said hello.
That's it.
I'm winding up. Okay.
I think that for me, I also want to welcome everybody in Illinois and even Chicago, because today we moved effectively into phase 4. And some of the keys in phase 4 for the state of Illinois is that group size has increased to 50. But there's an asterisk on that, because in the salons, you've got still the requirement of for most of Illinois, 50% capacity, and I want to address that, and for Chicago, 25% capacity, but you have to maintain that 6-foot social distance. They give you an option that if you can't maintain the 6-foot social distance, not only do you need to wear a mask, which is required anyway, because we're automatically within that six feet, but between stations is what I'm talking about. Because they are allowing you to, if you have decommissioned, you can open those items back up, but you have to have, it's suggested that you have an impermeable barrier in between the stylist, the guest, and the next stylist and guest. So if Terry and I were working behind the chair and we had guests in front of us, we wouldn't, of course, be this close, but there would be an impermeable barrier that goes between us. I saw originally some salons were putting the barriers against the wall in between their stations, but they need to be out where the people are. They need to be between your stylist, your guest, and the next stylist and guest. So 50% capacity. In Chicago, 25% capacity. And what that means, because we might think, oh, I've got 10 chairs, that means I can work 5 chairs. 1 customer per. The reality is that you've got a capacity that was put on your building when you
signed your lease.
When you had your fire inspection.
For Habitat, yeah.
The fire inspector tells you what the capacity is on your building. So it's not the number of chairs, it's the capacity, the fire capacity. So that's something to keep in mind, because it's way different than just counting chairs and doing the 50% or counting chairs and doing the 25%. Mm-hmm. There's also things in there you want to look real closely. We did post the phase 4 information on our Facebook page immediately as soon as it was released. Please make yourself comfortable with that. I think it's interesting. I did see part of the document that said blow drying is, you're able to blow dry now, and you're able to shampoo now, and it was never said that you couldn't. So it's interesting that that's one of these new things. There's not much new in phase 4. Phase 4 is mostly for other businesses that haven't opened yet, like indoors restaurants, gyms, health clubs, things of that nature that they had put limitations on. And so just pay attention to that. Again, there's not much change for the salons. But the thing that's important to know about phase 4 is that it's the last phase until we have a vaccine that's readily available. So this phase is a phase we're going to be in for quite a while, unless we would have to step back, of course, and none of us want to do that. But we could go backwards. We're not going to go forward until that vaccine's in place. But with that in mind, what we think will happen is that as the numbers hopefully improve, they will change some of the items listed in phase 4. Kind of like in phase 3 when they originally said nothing over a 30-minute massage, then they took that away. No shaves or beard trims, and then they took that away. So and made it possible to do those things. Mm-hmm. So I think phase 4 is going to be a lot like that. As the numbers improve, they will, I think, raise things like the number of guests will go up from 50, and the capacity limit is really what we want to see go up.
I think one of the things that I would encourage you to think about right now is what services are going to change in phase 4. What can the guest expect that's different? Now, some of them were welcome during phase 3, of course. And then what are you going to do differently in phase 4? What are you going to reduce, or maybe traffic may increase, so you're going to still keep those same disciplines in place. Some of you might say in phase 4, we're going to continue not to shampoo or blow dry hair, or maybe we're going to shampoo and we're not going to blow dry hair, but you need to let your guests know, and that would be a good social media post on what they can expect differently from you in phase 4. It's not just that we're in phase 4, how does that affect your guest experience? Mm-hmm. Right?
No, in the guidelines, they're still recommending that perhaps you do Zoom staff meetings or video staff meetings rather than on-site staff meetings. Your space is going to dictate that, whether you're able to.
I mean, capacity, like let's say we go into a bar today and it'll say 175 capacity. And I can't remember what the formula is for elbow room and where they think that it's too crowded to be safe. None of you are going to be at capacity in most cases. You might be at social distancing situation, but not at capacity.
Yeah, the 3 pieces of that are social distance, capacity, and overall group size. Right.
All right. So now when you look at a staff meeting, you've got the ability to stretch that out for social distancing. Could you do a Zoom? Yes. Are their ability to connect as well? Probably not. But tell your staff what they can expect from connection and leadership changes too in phase 4.
I think just to share something that came up today on a call that I was on with our school team is that because we've been closed for so long, we usually close down one day a month for our town hall meeting, which is where we gather as a team and we communicate with each other. We have advanced education, usually taking up at least half of the day. But more than anything, it's a chance to communicate what's going on in the school, all the important points. And for the whole team to be together.
The director team, yeah.
So
we do that here too.
Because we were closed for 3 months, we didn't allow for a town hall in June or July. And so the team is looking to have more communication. And what came to me was, right now, because we haven't had that, the team is probably more worried about their safety than our future professionals are. And the only thing missing is that personal touch, that group together to say, look, here's what we've done. Sometimes you have to state it in order for it to be real.
Well, I think that's a fair point, and sometimes leaders get in a position where they feel like they only have to announce what's going on in their businesses as a need to know. This is a right now. Your staff, because of the distance and them being alone and being left to come to their own thoughts and conclusions, this is a have to know. They have to know what's going on and what they can expect. And maybe it's just the rest of 2020, right? What can we expect, and how are we going to make sure we're taking care of each other during the process? The leadership team can be tested during this, and has been tested in many cases. Some came on sooner, they were paced differently. So you could have 2 employees that know everything. You got another 3 employees come in, and now we got to go back and get them. I said that to you yesterday. Go back and get people, because you might be here, but we paced bringing people back in. You've got to go back and get them and bring them so they feel current. And keep asking questions so they can help you understand how comfortable they're feeling getting back in the swing of things. And do they feel like they're on the same page with you? That's really big.
And in some cases, because of the age group that we're working with, you may need to include either husband or wife, significant other, or a family member, a mom or a dad, if they're still living at home, in that conversation. Because, and this isn't a have to, this is just something that came to me as a realization today, that we can have everything in place, and we've gone to great lengths and we spent a lot of money in order for our environment to be safe for our future professionals, our team of educators and support team, and our guests that walk through the door. But if our staff member could feel great in the moment, and then they get home and the family is saying, I'm not comfortable with you going back to work.
Yeah, they might have watched the news all day.
Yeah.
Right?
and so why not?
Which isn't good.
Why not? First of all, you've got an opportunity to shine because of what you've done, the care that you've taken. Most businesses, and I mean that, most businesses have not taken the care and applied the disciplines in order to maintain safety in the way that we have in the professional salon industry
What we've witnessed,
and the
yes.
barber industry. So it's a time to shine in front of not only your team member, but their family. A key family member, because we want their support. We want them to know that we care for their loved one.
Well, and if the employee can't defend to their family, then we haven't shared with them enough of what we've done and what our commitment to safety is. Right? Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of brings me to what I wanted to talk about today, which I want to remind everybody of a book called The Power of Moments. And one of the things that I have talked about in our live sessions, when Terry and I teach together, I really believe in, before there was a book called The Power of Moments, I believe a lot in the value of a moment. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about moments. And I looked to various songs, and what I had forgotten that Whitney Houston sang a song called "One Moment in Time," and it just says so much. And you look at the one shining moment.
Well, and maybe you create a theme song right now for the salon during this comeback for you. And it's not too late to put things like that in place. I mean, this is going to be an anniversary date that's different and held on to, or an anniversary season. Do you remember in 2020 when we went through this and how we stood tall and we came back together even stronger? That's powerful. So I like to add on to that is turning these moments into a movement, and what the salon is now a movement of what we've thought about during the closing. And how we were going to come back, and it's created a new movement. We just had lunch with a salon owner, and he said it was nuts when we came back. but it was a nuts that we managed, and we managed well. And I was so proud of my people, because they were nervous, but it went very smooth. And that's hats off to the whole team, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you said it was craziness.
Crazy.
But it was perfect, right?
Yeah.
And that just means it was prepared for. You know, opportunity is when inspiration and
Desperation.
preparation.
And desperation.
Inspiration and preparation come together.
After desperation,
Yeah.
right?
And that's part of what creates moments. And so the thing that I really want to say is why in life do we settle for a single moment here or there? Why are there moments that are memorable in our life rather than our life, the net total of that? Why would they ever write a song that says one shining moment when we reach for the stars? Aren't we in our industry always reaching for the stars? Aren't we trying to do better the next time, every time? I think so. I think that's the one thing that an artist would say after they've completed a painting or a drawing or anything, and a hairdresser after they've cut a head of hair, or after they have changed the color or the dimension or the shape. I think that as that person's walking away, you're saying, and next time it'll be even better. And next time I'll do this, I'll do that differently. And that's, you know, I mean, think about it from what people do. There's not a lot of positions in life where you can constantly improve. Not just in a big picture improve. Yeah, every day we're getting better and better. But I mean on an individual, moment to moment, guest to guest basis. You have the opportunity to improve, to do little things better each time. And that's what's exciting. To me, that's what gets you out of bed in the morning. I get to do this again today, and I know I can do better. I did this and it was great, but I know I can do better. Where people get stalled and where they get burned out is when they don't have an idea that takes them to the next level. They don't have an idea of what they need to do
They don't know
in order to get better.
They don't know how to define better, right? Sometimes it's just get through it or do the basics. I mean, I've worked with people in my lifetime that look for ways to get out of work versus lean in to make better work. So anyway, until next time, we're going to do it better on Monday.
Oh, we'll do it.
Do we have anything else to say today?
Much better on Monday.
Much
right?
better on Monday. Yeah. Are we good?
We're always grateful for the time that we spend with you. As you can see, as you're all back behind the chair,
we're getting back.
We're trying to make these a little bit more tidy, a little bit shorter, so that you can digest them. But what I'd ask you to do is identify the moments, pick up the power of moments if you haven't, read it again, read it by chapter, go back to your favorite parts, listen to it on Audible. Whatever you need to
Sing
do.
a couple songs and record them and send them in to us, you know.
Yeah, why not? But thank you. Have a great weekend.
See you Monday, everyone.
See you Monday.
Bye.